Ladies and gentlemen, we've all encountered individuals in our lives who seem to dismiss our value, undermine our efforts, or treat us with disregard. It's an unfortunate experience that can leave us feeling disrespected, hurt, and even powerless. But here's the key. The way we respond to these situations has a far greater impact on our emotional and mental well-being than the actions of the person who disrespects us. We have the power to choose how we handle disrespect, and in doing so, we can maintain our peace, our sense of self-worth, and our power. Today, I want to share with you 3 transformative ways to handle people who don't respect you. The first way is to maintain your boundaries. When someone disrespects you, it's essential to know where your boundaries lie and to protect them. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about preserving your energy and emotional space. When you let others know what is acceptable and what is not, you create a safe environment for yourself. If someone crosses that line, it's your right to speak up or remove yourself from the situation. Your boundaries are an expression of your self-respect. And by upholding them, you reinforce your worth without needing to engage in conflict or confrontation. We all do it. The second way is to shift your focus inward. Instead of reacting to the disrespect of others, turn your attention to your own thoughts and emotions. Often when we feel disrespected, it's because we are allowing someone else's behavior to trigger a response within us. By becoming aware of this reaction, we can choose not to internalize it. In those moments, remind yourself that the way others treat you says more about them than it does about you. When you keep your internal state anchored in your own sense of worth, the disrespectful actions of others lose their power over you. The third way is to respond with compassion and detachment. This may sound counterintuitive, but responding with compassion allows you to let go of anger or resentment, which only drain your energy. Compassion doesn't mean tolerating disrespect, but rather seeing the situation from a higher perspective. People who disrespect others often do so because they are operating from their own fears, insecurities, or unresolved pain. When you can detach from their behavior and view it with understanding, you protect your own peace and prevent their actions from affecting your emotional state. By maintaining your boundaries, focusing inward, and responding with compassion, you take control of your emotional state and protect your energy. Remember, the key to handling disrespect and being disrespected by individuals is to have boundaries. It is key to handling disrespect. Boundaries are essential for maintaining emotional and mental well-being, particularly when dealing with people who don't respect you. Setting boundaries is not about controlling others or creating distance in relationships. It is about safeguarding your energy, your peace, and your sense of self. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to feel vulnerable or powerless, but establishing clear boundaries allows you to take control of the situation and protect yourself from being affected by their actions. The first step in maintaining your boundaries is recognizing what they are. Boundaries are unique to each individual, depending on personal values, needs, and the type of relationship in question. They are not rigid rules, but flexible guidelines that help you feel safe and respected. For example, if you feel disrespected by someone's behavior, such as constant interruptions or demeaning comments, your boundary might be to calmly state that this behavior is not acceptable. Once you identify your boundary, it becomes easier to enforce them in a way that protects your emotional state. Setting boundaries also involves learning to say no when necessary. Many people struggle with this, especially when they fear confrontation or want to please others. However, when you constantly say yes to things that drain you or compromise your values, you're allowing others to dictate your emotional well-being. Saying no is an act of self-respect, and it sends a clear message that you value your own needs and space. Enforcing boundaries with consistency is key. It's not enough to simply recognize your limits. You must be willing to stand firm in them. By doing so, you prevent others from overstepping and maintain your emotional equilibrium. Setting clear and healthy boundaries empowers you to engage with others in a way that is respectful of both your needs and theirs. Shifting your focus inward is one of the most powerful tools you can use when dealing with disrespect from others. Often, when we feel disrespected, we allow the actions or words of others to trigger an emotional reaction within us. We may feel hurt, angry, or frustrated. And in those moments, it can feel as though the disrespect we experience is controlling our emotional state. However, the key to regaining power in such situations lies in choosing to direct our focus inward, away from the behavior of others and toward our own thoughts and emotions. Life increases our internal joy when we accept ourselves and others as they are. When you shift your focus inward, you begin to take responsibility for your own feelings and reactions. You realize that no one can make you feel disrespected unless you allow it. In other words, the disrespect is not inherently harmful. It is the way you respond to it that determines its impact on your life. By becoming aware of your emotional triggers, you can start to separate yourself from the feelings that arise when someone disrespects you. Instead of immediately reacting, you pause and observe how the situation makes you feel, without judgment. This practice of self-awareness allows you to recognize the moment when a reaction is beginning to form and gives you the space to choose a more empowered response. All through life, we operate with our minds. When you take responsibility for your emotional state, you create the freedom to respond from a place of peace rather than emotional reactivity. You may realize that the disrespectful behavior of others is often a reflection of their own internal struggles or insecurities, not a personal attack on you. Shifting inward allows you to detach from their behavior and prevent it from influencing your emotional well-being. In this way, you maintain your peace and prevent others from having the power to destabilize your inner calm. End quote. Responding with compassion and detachment can be one of the most transformative approaches to handling people who don't respect you. This method doesn't mean tolerating disrespect or excusing harmful behavior. Rather, it is about shifting your perspective and choosing how you engage with others, even when they act in ways that are hurtful. By practicing compassion, you can view the situation from a higher perspective and approach it with empathy, rather than reacting from a place of anger or frustration. When you respond with compassion, you allow yourself to understand that the person disrespecting you may be acting out of their own pain, fear, or insecurities. Often, disrespectful behavior is a reflection of someone's internal struggles, and recognizing this helps you detach from taking their actions personally. Instead of seeing the situation as an attack on your worth, you can approach it with understanding, knowing that their behavior is more about them than it is about you. This shift in perspective not only helps you maintain your emotional balance, but also prevents you from getting caught in a cycle of negativity or resentment. End quote. Detachment, on the other hand, is the practice of emotionally distancing yourself from the situation so that you can observe it without becoming entangled in the drama. Detaching from disrespect allows you to stay grounded in your own sense of self-worth, regardless of how others treat you. It means not internalizing the negativity, not allowing it to shake your belief in who you are, and not letting it affect your mental state. By choosing to detach, you create emotional space between yourself and the behavior of others, which enables you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Through compassion and detachment, you free yourself from the emotional weight that disrespect can carry. You maintain your peace and emotional stability not by changing others, but by choosing how you perceive and respond to their actions. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of handling people who don't respect you. It allows you to recognize not only the actions of others, but also your own emotional responses and patterns. When you are self-aware, you become conscious of how external behaviors affect your internal state. And this awareness gives you the power to choose how you respond, rather than reacting out of habit or emotion. By developing a deeper understanding of yourself, you create the space to detach from the situation and not let it define or disturb your sense of worth. In moments when you feel disrespected, self-awareness helps you step back and evaluate the situation objectively. Instead of instantly assuming the worst or jumping into defense mode, you can pause and observe how you feel, why you feel that way, and whether your reaction is based on a past wound or a present circumstance. This kind of self-reflection allows you to act with intention, rather than allowing the disrespect to dictate your emotional state. Moreover, self-awareness gives you insight into your boundaries and limits. When you understand your needs, desires, and values clearly, you are better able to communicate them effectively and assertively when others cross a line. By recognizing what behaviors are unacceptable to you, you can enforce your boundaries calmly and with confidence, ensuring that you do not allow disrespect to go unnoticed or unaddressed. The beauty of self-awareness is that it also allows you to avoid personalizing others' behavior. When you are in tune with yourself, you are less likely to take disrespect personally. Instead, you understand that how others treat you is often more about their internal struggles than about you. This realization provides you with emotional resilience, allowing you to move through difficult interactions without being shaken or diminished by them. After all, emotional detachment is a powerful tool when dealing with people who don't respect you. It's the practice of separating your emotional responses from the actions and words of others, creating space between their behavior and your feelings. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent. It means maintaining control over your emotions, so you're not at the mercy of how others treat you. Emotional detachment allows you to remain grounded and unaffected by disrespectful behavior, preventing it from triggering negative emotional reactions, such as anger, frustration, or hurt. The key to emotional detachment lies in understanding that you cannot control others' behavior, but you can control how you respond. When you realize that someone's disrespect is a reflection of them, not you, you gain the ability to step back and observe the situation without reacting impulsively. Emotional detachment empowers you to choose how to engage with the situation, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than emotionally. When you detach emotionally, you stop taking things personally and avoid becoming entangled in a cycle of negativity or defensiveness. Detachment also helps you set healthy boundaries. When you are emotionally detached, you can recognize when a person is overstepping your limits and address the situation without becoming overwhelmed by emotions. This detachment doesn't mean withdrawing from the relationship entirely. Instead, it allows you to approach it with clarity and self-respect. By staying emotionally neutral, you can make decisions that are in alignment with your own values, rather than reacting out of hurt or resentment. In moments when you feel disrespected, emotional detachment gives you the space to decide what's best for you. It enables you to protect your inner peace, keep your emotional state intact, and maintain a sense of control in the face of external chaos. Self-compassion is a vital practice when dealing with people who don't respect you. It involves treating yourself with kindness, understanding, and patience, especially in moments when you feel hurt or disrespected. Rather than turning inward with self-criticism or blame, self-compassion encourages you to acknowledge your feelings and respond to yourself as you would to a dear friend who is experiencing similar challenges. This practice helps to foster emotional resilience, enabling you to navigate disrespect with greater ease and without internalizing the negative behavior of others. When you practice self-compassion, you recognize that it's okay to feel hurt or upset when someone disrespects you, but you don't let those emotions define your worth. Instead of spiraling into negative thoughts or self-doubt, you offer yourself comfort and reassurance. You remind yourself that no one's disrespect can diminish your value, and that you have the power to choose how you respond. This shift in mindset creates a sense of inner strength, as you stop seeking validation from others and begin to rely on your own sense of self-worth. Every single thing in life moves directly toward its self-awareness. Self-compassion also involves understanding that you are not alone in your experiences. Everyone faces moments of disrespect, and it's a shared part of the human experience. By recognizing this, you remove the feeling of isolation that can accompany disrespect and instead embrace the shared nature of the challenge. This broader perspective helps you approach the situation with greater empathy and less emotional charge, allowing you to handle it with a clear mind and an open heart. When you practice self-compassion, you also become less reactive. Instead of allowing the disrespectful behavior to trigger a defensive or emotional reaction, you approach the situation with a sense of calm and understanding. You allow yourself to feel your emotions without letting them control you. And this emotional awareness creates space for you to choose a response that aligns with your highest self. When faced with disrespect, one of the most empowering ways to handle the situation is by choosing not to engage in negativity. Many times, people who disrespect others do so from a place of insecurity, fear, or frustration. Instead of letting their behavior trigger your own insecurities or reactions, you can choose to rise above the situation. Not engaging with negativity doesn't mean ignoring the issue or allowing poor behavior to continue. It means maintaining your peace and not allowing someone else's actions to dictate your emotional state. By refusing to engage in their negativity, you preserve your energy and your sense of self-respect. Choosing not to engage in negativity requires a conscious decision to remain calm and centered, no matter how others behave. This can be challenging, especially when the disrespect is personal or hurtful, but when you recognize that you are in control of your emotional responses, it becomes easier to maintain composure. When someone disrespects you, you have the power to choose how much of your energy you want to invest in their actions. You can acknowledge the behavior without allowing it to consume you, recognizing that their disrespect is more a reflection of them than of you. This approach is also about setting an example. When you choose not to engage in negativity, you communicate that you will not lower your standards to match the behavior of others. Instead of responding with anger or frustration, you demonstrate emotional maturity and emotional strength. This can have a powerful effect not only on the person who disrespects you, but also on your own sense of self-worth. By holding your peace and refusing to be dragged into negativity, you show yourself that you are worthy of respect and can navigate challenges with grace and composure. When dealing with people who don't respect you, it's essential to remember that your response is far more important than their behavior. In these moments, one of the most effective strategies is to stay calm and centered, regardless of the external chaos. When we let others' disrespect affect our emotional state, we are essentially giving away our power. We allow their actions to dictate how we feel and how we respond, which means we are no longer in control of our own emotions. By choosing to stay calm, you not only protect your peace, but also take back the power that was once in the hands of the person disrespecting you. Remaining calm in the face of disrespect allows you to think clearly and make decisions that are aligned with your values and boundaries. It also prevents you from reacting impulsively, which can often lead to regret or further conflict. By staying calm, you create space between the disrespectful behavior and your reaction, which enables you to choose a response that is thoughtful, intentional, and rooted in your sense of self-worth. This helps you maintain your dignity and integrity, even when others may attempt to undermine it. Staying calm also sets a boundary without the need for confrontation. When people see that their behavior does not affect you in the way they may expect, they are less likely to continue disrespecting you. This calmness sends a powerful message that you are not easily shaken or manipulated. It communicates that you respect yourself enough to remain centered, regardless of how others act. By maintaining your inner peace, you not only protect your emotional well-being, but also reinforce your boundaries in a way that requires no words, only presence. One of the most powerful tools for handling people who don't respect you is to shift your perspective and recognize that their behavior is not about you, it's about them. When someone disrespects you, it is easy to internalize their actions and take them personally. However, when you understand that their behavior is more a reflection of their own internal struggles, insecurities, or unmet needs, you can begin to detach emotionally from the situation. This perspective shift allows you to respond from a place of understanding rather than reacting from a place of hurt or anger. It gives you the power to take a step back and not let their actions define your sense of self-worth. When you shift your perspective, you realize that you are in control of how you interpret others' actions. You no longer have to react impulsively to disrespect. Instead, you can choose to respond with empathy or simply detach from the situation entirely. People who act disrespectfully often do so because they are projecting their own unresolved issues onto others. By recognizing this, you stop taking their behavior as a personal attack and instead view it with compassion and detachment. This mental shift helps to protect your emotional space and prevents you from internalizing negative energy. Additionally, when you stop making their disrespect about you, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil that it can create. You stop giving them power over how you feel and begin to regain control over your emotional well-being. This allows you to engage with the situation in a calm and grounded way, making decisions that align with your values rather than reacting out of frustration or defensiveness. By shifting your perspective, you create the emotional distance necessary to handle disrespect with grace and dignity. One of the most powerful ways to handle people who don't respect you is by choosing to respond with integrity. Integrity is not just about being honest or doing the right thing when others are watching. It is about staying true to your own values and beliefs, regardless of how others treat you. When someone disrespects you, it can be tempting to react in a way that mirrors their behavior, whether that means being defensive, confrontational, or dismissive. But rather, when we recognize the emulous, it is being able to not accept it as a personal offense and instead facing it. However, responding with integrity means resisting that impulse and instead choosing to act from a place of self-respect and authenticity. When you respond with integrity, you stay aligned with your own principles and your sense of self-worth. You don't let the actions of others dictate how you behave. For example, if someone disrespects you in a conversation, instead of matching their tone or trying to win the argument, you maintain composure and express your feelings calmly and clearly. You do not lower your standards to meet theirs. In this way, you hold yourself to a higher standard of behavior, which reinforces your own self-respect and sets a clear boundary with the other person. Acts chapter 1, verse 19. Responding with integrity also means knowing when to walk away from a situation that isn't serving you. If someone continues to disrespect you despite your efforts to communicate or set boundaries, choosing to disengage is a powerful act of integrity. You are telling yourself that you value your time, energy, and well-being too much to invest in a situation where your worth is not recognized. By responding with integrity, you maintain control over your emotional state, your boundaries, and your peace of mind, regardless of how others choose to behave. This strengthens your sense of self and your ability to handle difficult situations with grace. Oh.